4 episodes in. Well done, Dave Filoni. You're really saving Star Wars now, aren't you? Fucking retard. G'day guys and welcome back to Raging Rhino. Alright, I know I'm really late with this review, but today I'm going to review episode 4 of The Bad Batch. Now, the reason why it's actually taken me so long, I mean we're nearly up to episode 5, is because I really don't care. This show is boring. This show is the exact same plot as The Mandalorian. I swear, I reckon I could show you maybe 3 of my Mandalorian reviews, and within those 3 Mandalorian episodes, you would find the exact plot of this episode. So in saying that, what actually triggered me to actually do these reviews, it was actually you guys. So I put a couple of polls out. I put this out on the 8th of May, so about episode 2, and I also put this poll on YouTube about episode 2, and it was the exact same day, 2 weeks ago. And I had, on this poll, I had 74 people vote, and on this poll over here, I had 300 people vote. Now, 72.7% of the vote went to didn't watch it. So straight away, I'm thinking to myself, well, that's a lot of the people. That's a lot of you guys. The people that are now disinterested in Disney Star Wars entirely to the point where you're not watching it. But you're still interested to hear how they're actually destroying it. And I know what that's like because you don't really want to hear what they're saying about it or what they're doing to destroy it, but you kind of just want to keep your head above water in regards to what's actually going on. You just want to be in the know. I get it. So I thought, all right, I'm going to do these reviews. Anyway, from here on out, there's going to be spoilers ahead. Now, I'm going to break this down because I want to give you the entire episode in a nutshell. But there's a couple of things that I really want to talk about because I've got a couple of theories in regards to where they're going with some of the things that they're introducing. And I really think that they've already broken their own canon between this show and what they've introduced and The Mandalorian. Dave Filoni, well done. So let me give you this episode in a nutshell. We don't see Crosshair at all in this entire episode. This is all about Omega, basically. So their ship's running out of fuel. They've got no rations. Their ship is on the wanted list. And they need to land somewhere to do repairs and change the beacon in their ship that they're tracking to find their wanted ship. So they land at this planet. I don't care about the names of the planets or anything. If you've watched it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched it, you'll still be able to track along. They land on a planet. The person who's at the dock, or the alien that's at the dock, running the dock, goes to go and inspect their ship. Wrecker says to him, "You could skip that." And he goes, "Yes, I could skip that." And they walk away. Now, as they're walking away, he's like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "You said that you'd skip it." And he goes, "I said I could skip it." And he puts out his hand for credits, right? So it's trying to show how the Bad Batch crew is trying to get used to civilian life as opposed to being in the military. Anyway, they pay them off, but he still calls a bounty hunter. And this is where they make the universe really small. So the bounty hunter is, of course, if you haven't heard already, Fennec Shand, the bounty hunter from The Mandalorian. There's no bounty hunter between the end of the Clone Wars and 5 years after Return of the Jedi that could have done this job. And you know why? This is where one of my theories comes into play. Because they're now doing the Book of Boba Fett, which has got Fennec Shand as Boba Fett's right-hand man or right-hand gal. And, of course, they want to tell her backstory, and then they're going to have some kid come into that. And, of course, she works with all these kids, or she hunts all these kids, or something. I don't know. But, of course, they're trying to interconnect it. And, again, it makes the world so small. We're talking about end of the Clone Wars to 5 years after Return of the Jedi. One bounty hunter hunting down 2 kids in 2 of the stories that they want to show us. So, honestly, you could replace Omega with Baby Yoda. You could replace Hunter with Din Djarin. You could replace some of the other characters, probably Wrecker with Cara Dune, the muscle. You replace all these characters, and then you replace Fennec Shand with Fennec Shand. Perfect. It's poetry. Anyway, Fennec isn't hunting the ship. She's not hunting the Bad Batch. She's hunting Omega. So there's some all-important reason why Omega is actually the bounty, and they want her back alive by the looks of things. Otherwise, Fennec would have just killed her. Of course, they get away. Omega and Hunter get away, and, everything's cool in the end. They replace the thing in the ship so that they can't be tracked, and they can change the code at any time, and they fly away. Oh, the other thing too is that they keep introducing more and more of the chain codes. More and more of the chain codes. They're really ramping up the chain codes. And again, this is where another one of my theories comes in. But that's basically the episode. Fennec Shand loses, and they get away. End of episode. All happens on one planet, which is cool. I don't have a problem with an entire episode being just on one planet. But when it's exactly the same as The Mandalorian, he's got a broken ship. He's got to land somewhere. There's bounty hunters chasing the child. Man, it's the exact same plot. It's the exact same story. But after watching this episode, I started to think about it. Chain codes. So they really got ramped up after the end of the Clone Wars. Like, this is pretty much immediately after Order 66. Chain codes is a massive thing. So I think that they're bringing in chain codes to justify tracking fobs. Now, in saying that, it opens up a whole nother lot of questions. But let me explain. Of course, everybody's now got to scan themselves. I don't know whether or not it's blood or whether or not it's these cards that you see in one of the episodes. I don't know what it is, right? But that's what's going to be the thing that they're detecting. Now, what I'm talking about when I say the cards, I'm talking about these in Cut and Run, that episode there, Cut and Run, episode 2. They're introducing, of course, the chain codes, and they make these chain codes so that Cut and his family can get away, get off world. And these are the things that he hands over. So if these are the things that the tracking fobs detect, then these have to be sending out some sort of beacon, right? But the thing is we don't see Baby Yoda with one of them, and they can track Baby Yoda with a tracking fob. So that eliminates this from the equation. But if it then becomes the blood that they're detecting through the chain code, that means that your blood needs to be transmitting some sort of beacon for these things to be detecting that, surely. But then not only that, if you skip forward to one of the episodes of The Mandalorian, Boba says to Din Djarin this.
My chain code has been encoded in this armor for 25 years. See, this is me, Boba Fett. This is my father, Jango Fett.
That's my father, Jango Fett. I'm pretty sure that Jango Fett died before chain codes were invented. So how can Jango have a chain code? Unless they just backdate all the dead people and they give them all chain codes as well. And then Bulba goes and puts it in this armor. So chain codes were invented at Order 66, basically right after Order 66. They're talking about it in all the Disney stuff, but what about in the OT? Did they use chain codes in the OT? Because chain codes were a big thing. They were ramping them up. You see them massively used well before the OT start and 5 years after the OT finishes. But there's no chain codes in between. They have no idea what they're doing. They're trying to use chain codes to justify the tracking fobs. And they're using the exact same story from this for the Bad Batch. So look, all in all, this episode was a boring as hell episode. It felt like a heap of filler. They've made Omega, again, the one important factor. Why not just call this Star Wars Omega? It's not the Bad Batch, it's them being babysitters in space. While bounty hunters chase down this child for some reason. And you know what I think that reason is? Because Baby Yoda's blood meant something in The Mandalorian. So her blood's going to mean something too. It's going to be something that's the catalyst for why Palpatine's still alive in the sequels. Or who fucking knows? Snoke was probably a spliced clone between Omega's blood and Luke's hand. It's absolutely ridiculous. It was a garbage episode. I honestly thought that I should get this out before episode 5. I'm not looking forward to episode 5 whatsoever. This gets a 1 because it's a recycled story. And they found a way to make the universe tiny. And they're already trying to justify things that they had no idea about what they were doing. And they're already fucking their own canon. 4 episodes in. Well done, Dave Filoni. You're really saving Star Wars now, aren't you? Fucking retard. Anyway, look, that's all I pretty much got for you. If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. Good for you. You obviously enjoyed The Mandalorian too. Please let me know what you thought in the comments below if you did watch it. Even if you didn't watch it, based on my description. I mean, you're not going to obviously like what I'm saying if you did like it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in a couple of days for episode 5. Later, guys.